talking about this. Today we're talking about politics. Usually I try to avoid politics and religion. Ever since my sister was abused back in Russia by Orthodox Pope. I'm kidding, I'm joking. It's a joke, okay? I don't have a sister and nobody was ever abused. But anyway, it's always a good idea to stay away from politics and religion, right? Because there's so many nuts out there. But this is my first year in Alberta and I'm no longer a trucking bum, right? I own this magnificent mansion slash one-bedroom condo apartment. And I find that when you own a piece of property, you get some respect, you know. You get letters like this with an official envelope where it says elections Alberta. Elections Alberta. And what's happening now in Alberta, and of course we have provinces, we don't have states, so this is Canada. Alberta is one of the provinces in the west, and the current party in power is called UCP, Conservatives, United Conservative Party, with the lady called Daniel Smith at the wheel, so to speak. And honestly, recently, I used to support Democrats, but recently I started agreeing more with conservatives, you know, both in US and Canada, because they're better, usually they're better for business, and because I'm self-employed, right? I'm, you know, used to be a trucker, now I'm trying to be a freight broker. I like business-oriented governments, right? And so now, what's interesting, so this is my first year, and I think I only voted once ever since I moved to Canada. I voted in Cambridge a couple of years ago, and I was shooting for Conservatives, and of course Trudeau won again for, like, what is he, like 10th time in the big house. And then Conservatives kept sending me letters asking for donations, and I said, guys, come on, you lost, right? You're losers. Why would I give you money? But I remember, because, you know, I did not own a house or an apartment. It was a bit tricky, right? So all I had was a PO box, and I showed up at the, you know, for the elections, and they had a very hard time finding me. Like, so what is this? Because I had no address besides you know, a box that looked like an office. And actually, I had it on my, I had no choice, but I had it on my driver's license, right? I even went to the Service Ontario, which here in Alberta is called the registry, right? And I asked him, I said, what do you guys want me to put for the address? I know you don't recognize PO boxes, but it's not exactly a PO box. I'm paying like 25 bucks a month for this, and it looks like a legitimate address, but in fact, it is a PO box. But I said, at least you can send me a letter. Like, you want me to put some fake address? I said, I'm a trucker, right? So I'm either on the road or I go to a hotel, right? So I don't own a house, I don't own an apartment. And I still remember the lady, the clerk says, give me a minute. And she went back somewhere into the secret corridors of power and talked to her manager, and came back and she said, my boss says it's fine. So they allowed me to put my post office address on the driver's license. So yeah, I was a bum, right? So I didn't have any property, right? But now, this is the first time I'll be voting in Alberta. And now I'm fully legal. I have the address, I have an apartment. So they say bring 2 pieces of ID and bring a utility bill. So they sent me this letter which says where you vote, and in many cases, of course, it's a school. And today's what, 26th, so we have this big election on 29th. And this is, you know, we have like 3 levels, right? We have mayor, provincial, and federal. So this election is provincial. We are voting who will be the next prime minister, so to speak, or president of Alberta, right? Premier. And so the current party in power is UCP, Conservatives. But their leader, Daniel Smith, made a lot of some controversial statements over the years. And the second choice, and there's only two choices, either Democrats, what is it, NDP, Democratic Party, or UCP, Conservative Party. And so in this letter, they tell you what is your electoral district by number. And then I went online and I was able, like I'm curious, right? Like, okay, let's say I decide on one party versus the other, right? But who are the candidates in this particular northeast Calgary area? And so I started looking at who I'll be actually voting for on May 29th, like what person, right? So anyway. Electionsab.ca, that's where you can go and you see candidates, right? So this is Alberta, and then I know my what do you call it, station, electoral division is number 20, this one. Now I was really, honestly, I was surprised to see that there's only 2 names here. Not 3, not 5, 2. 1 for each party. So one is a Mr. Gurinder Brar, representing NDP, Democrats, and the other is Inder Gruwal, representing the Conservative Party, right? And so both of Indian origin. And this is our current premier. And over here it's super difficult to find, you know, candidates. I remember events about, I remember I had to search on Google to see any information about this particular guy. But just to give you an idea, what's interesting is that this candidate he owns a trucking company. Honest to God. So he's a director or president of All Freight Transport. All Freight Transport, but for some reason over here it says Devon, I don't know, but basically he's a trucker. He's a trucker. This is the guy representing the Conservatives, right? And then if I click on Democrats, this is the Democrat Rachel Notley. And over here it's much easier to find candidates. So their website is much better organized. Like, you know, from my standpoint, so this is only my opinion, but if I go to Conservatives website, right, like, where's the candidates, right? Like, okay, UCP platform, they tell you what their platform is, but where's the people? Like, who am I voting for in my particular team? What is this? Okay, so finally, so you see, you have to click on team. Like, how does that make any sense? And so here's all the slightly weird looking candidates. And I'm gonna touch on this in a second. I know I can get some flag for that, but so where is that guy? Here. This is the guy, Inder Gruwal, the owner of a trucking company, Calgary Northeast. And over here, that's where you can go and see that he's a loving man, devoted husband, and he advocates for minorities. And he runs a transportation company with a fleet of commercial trucks and trailers. And I was able to find him on LinkedIn right away. And so here it's easier, right? So this is, where's my guy? This one. Gurinder Brar. They give you a quick info here. So the guy got a bachelor's degree in accounting and then public policy and management from University of London. And he has taught at several Calgary area colleges. But what's interesting is that first sentence in the second paragraph, Gurinder paid his way through school by working retail and security jobs before starting his own logistics business, which employs more than 40 people. So basically, this guy is a freight broker. I couldn't just believe it, you know, that we have a freight broker from Democrats, and then we have a owner of a trucking company from conservatives. And you know, I'm no racist, but I'm gonna say something that probably will get me into some trouble with some minorities. But honestly, I don't believe that if you move to another country, you should bring all your customs with you, right? So you don't see me wearing a Russian 19th century pants and, you know, high boots that were popular in let's say Cossacks clothes. See, like this. Okay, where is it? Like, you don't see me walk around dressed like this, right? Like some crazy 2-century-old clothes from Russia, right? And I don't wear ushanka. What is my Russian winter hat? Well, I do wear it sometimes, right? But I don't wear it as a principle, right? Like, because if I was such a big Russian patriot, I probably would not leave my country. And so my plan, as you know, after reading a lot about this, when you immigrate to a different country, that means that there's something in your own country that you don't like, right? And so you don't wanna move to another country and start, you know, wearing stuff like this, right? Because you're such a big, in my case, a Russian patriot, right? If I was such a big Russian patriot, I would have stayed in Russia, right? And so the plan when you move to another country, I think the way you should do it, or people should do it, is you assimilate, right? Because now you're in a different country. You want to be a citizen, let's say Canada, USA, right? You don't want to bring your, you know, your traditions. Well, this lady actually looks cute in this turban, right? But that's what I don't understand. You know, I don't think that people should be bringing their customs to a different country. But at least these two guys, they're not wearing any, you know, any turbans, right? And then also I don't understand as an outsider, like why some people, you know, like this Devin the Tour, he's wearing this and then other guys don't, like this guy, you know. But I'm just saying, I was relieved to see that my candidates, either from conservatives or from Democrats, had open head with no turbans. I'm sorry, but it's just, you in Canada, right? We do not wear turbans in Canada. But I'm in Northeast Calgary. I have no issue with people that came here from, you know, India, Pakistan. Like, I'm an immigrant myself, but like I said, I do not impose my Russian customs on Canadians. I'm not wearing Russian pants. I'm not wearing Russian, you know, military uniform, stuff like that. But anyway, so this is gonna be my first interesting experience with two of these parties. I still haven't decided yet who I'm voting for, but honestly, I like Team Notley better than Team Daniel Smith, because, like I said, she made quite a few sketchy statements, you know, ever since she came to power. So I have until today is May 26th, so I have 3 days to decide, do I vote for Democrats, NDP, or do I vote for Conservatives? And so the voting station is at a high school, 5 minutes walk away from my apartment building. And this is going to be Monday, and we'll see what happens Monday. Probably Monday night there'll be some preliminary results published, but this is a big deal, right? This is kind of like the president of Alberta, right? The prime minister of Alberta, the premier, who will dictate the policies, you know, income taxes, you know, business climate, stuff like that. So I think it's an important thing. And actually, but I just went to a restaurant, and my server was, I said, "Are you from India?" She says, "Yes." And I said, "Who are you voting for?" Because I said both candidates are from India. And she says, "Oh, I'm not interested in that. I don't think I'll be going." And that's the problem with many young people. They don't pay attention to this. They don't believe in elections. They just don't care. Okay. But this is it. So that's been my little rant over here. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Oh, and by the way, just to show you something different here, yeah, Cossacks, right? So yeah, you see, I'm not walking around like this guy, right? And they even, Indian guys, they even insisted on wearing these turbans as part of a police uniform. And even one guy, yeah, I see, like, this is traditional, but this is more like Middle East Russia, like Ossetia or Caucasus hat. Like, you don't see me wearing this, right? But yeah, they even, and you don't see me walking around like this. Oh my God. But they even box, right? Like when many Indians insisted on wearing turbans when boxing. I think it's just nuts. I'm sorry. It's nuts. All right. Unless you're a good looking girl like this, okay. But that's not an actual turban, right? Like this guy, typical Russian KGB agent. What about this guy? Oh wow, that's like an interesting hat actually. But honestly, nobody wears hats like this in where did it go? Like, this is just crazy. Nobody wears hats like this in Russia. Maybe like this in winter, yeah. These type of hats are very popular because, you know, it can be very cold, so you can cover your ears. And I did get a hat like that, but I bought it from a gas station, right? Because they're very useful, you know, for a trucker. See, oh, it's actually called aviator hat. That has nothing to do with. Actually, that's a pretty cool hat, you know. Who's selling it? Mark's Men's Warehouse, $44.99. So that's our Canadian store. So maybe I can get one of those for the next winter. But what I wanted to show you guys is this. So I'm getting ready to hit the trail, and this is going to happen this Sunday. and there's a lake called Barrier Lake, and this is about 100 kilometers or 60 miles from Calgary. So this red dot is my home. Maybe no, I'm somewhere here, northeast of Calgary. So I'm gonna take bypass 201, then highway 1, and then these are the mountains, BC mountains. Then I have to take this highway 40, and this Barrier Lake is here, and that's our hiking trail for Sunday. This is 7 kilometers, or what is it, like 4.5 miles one way. And no, actually it's this one, and it's very, very hilly with 700 meters of elevation gain over here. Like, look at this. That doesn't look good. That means that this is really mountains over here. Okay, and then we're gonna get to this Yates Mountain with some unbelievable views, you know. I really look forward to this. So that's gonna be my Sunday. So all in all, we're gonna walk about 13 kilometers, basically back and forth. So this is gonna be cool. But yeah, it's not easy. It's considered a medium difficulty hike, and I'm bringing my hiking poles to make it a bit easier. But the views, that's the Barrier Lake over there. The views are just unbelievable. So that's my plan for Sunday. And then Monday, of course, it's everybody goes to hopefully to the voting stations and vote for one of the 2 candidates available.